Modified Hive Artifact, the Cryptolith Lure. Crow looked furtively over his shoulder as the hydraulic doors to Spider's personal treasure trove whooshed open. He had the gang boss's blessing to peruse the collection in hopes of finding something to combat the spread of the Hive cryptoliths. Nevertheless, Crow felt a subversive rush as he assessed the aisles of display cases, filled to the brim with curios and artifacts. Glint maneuvered through the rows, scanning item after item. Look! An Ahamkara brain fully intact. And here, a Golden Age missive written on pulped plant matter. And this looks like a pre-collapsed datapad, named after a fruit. And here's Glint, Crow interjected. Do you hear that? The ghost froze in midair. In the stillness of the subterranean bunker, Crow could hear something in the room. Not moving, not rustling, but whispering? Yes. A soft voice calling out. Crow crept to the back of the room toward a city-age cabinet filled with extinct circuitry. On the bottom shelf, covered in dust, was a nodule of Hive technology. Crow remembered seeing similar components atop Hive cedar ships. Crow picked up the component. The whispering increased to a near-audible level, both comfortingly familiar and repulsively alien, before falling silent. This is it, Crow muttered to his concerned ghost. I found our transmitter. Friction fire submachine gun. Speed, heat, and light. Fire away. What do you mean lost? The spider's tone is filled with ill-concealed fury. He leans forward in his throne. Their pikes were equipped with trackers. Why didn't you chase them down? Brivy kneels in front of Spider, all four of his palms on the ground. Their pikes remained. They are outside. Just the crew was gone. And the crates. He does his best to appear compliant by tamping down his quills. Gone. In the middle of the reef. On foot. With over 1 million glimmer in weapons. Something about this doesn't add up. Spider motions to Avrak and Ara, who advance on Brivy with molten welders raised. But we'll get to the truth of things soon enough. Brivy begins to panic. Please, Baron Spider. If it were not truth, I would not come back. Avrak prepares to melt off one of Brivy's upper arms and looks to the Spider for the order. Before Spider can speak, Crow steps forward from the wings. If I may, my Baron. Spider gestures for Avrak to hold and turns his attention to the Lightbearer. What is it? If you don't have the stomach for my discipline, you have permission to leave the room. It's not that, Baron. It's just that Brivy's account is consistent with several other instances Glint and I have seen out on the reef. We think it has something to do with those hive constructs. Crow spares a sympathetic glance toward the prostrate Brivy. Besides, what Brivy says is true. If he were in on the theft, he wouldn't have come back. If you'll just allow Glint and me to retrace his steps, we may find out what happened to the road crew. Who knows? We may even retrieve the weapons. Spider relaxes in his throne. Very well, Crow. Go find my weapons, and if you locate the road crew, you know what to do. Yes, Baron. Crow turns on a heel and strides from the room. Behind him, he hears the spider growl. Avork, you may proceed. Friction Fire is one of my favorite kinetic SMGs, and it might be the god roll. I have Fluted Barrel with Flared Magwell. I've been trying to get this roll with Tac Mag, but it won't drop for me. And then Threat Detector and Rampage are the perfect pair for this gun. It has fast reload, great damage. It just really hits the mark. And even if I don't get Tac Mag, Flared Magwell is still a really good backup mag, because it gives you that great reload speed, and it's a good pairing with Fluted Barrel that increases both stability and handling. And I've got a stability masterwork, although honestly I think I'd rather have range. Deafening Whisper Grenade Launcher. The right message is loud at any volume. Osiris. The Acolyte shuffles amidst the carnage of the battlefields. It lopes blithely beneath the impassive statues of awoken Techians, unable to make the abstract connection between the memorials and the stiffening corpses. It sorts through all materials with equal interest. Blood-stained cloth, stone rubble, burnt paper, viscera. It examines an empty bandolier. It chews on a clump of hair. It does not consider the taste. The Acolyte rolls over the upper half of a corpse bisected by Tolker's void eyes. Unlike other enemies, this one clutches a thick black tube. Not flesh, but metal. It pauses. Weapon? It grasps the tube and pulls, prying the tube from the enemy's rigid fingers. It remembers hearing the tube roar, seeing explosions stagger the ferocity of Xivu Arath. Weapon. For the first time since the assault began, the Acolyte glimpses the final shape. With this weapon, the Acolyte could ascend. It could impose logic. This weapon could destroy. Its incipient thought is interrupted by a hollow crunch. The Acolyte's eyes go dim. It slumps to the ground as a knight dislodges its sword from the Acolyte's skull. It tosses away its subordinate's corpse with one hand and picks up the grenade launcher with the other. A fine weapon, worthy of a knight of Xivu Arath. Deafening Whisper on a wave frame is a one-shot handheld grenade launcher. The projectiles release a wave of energy when they contact the ground. So you can just shoot the ground in front of your enemy, and it runs right for it. This particular weapon has all gold tier perks, except for in this column, because there aren't any gold tier perks. We have Lead from Gold. Ambitious Assassin would be my other choice. But I actually really like Lead from Gold on grenade launchers. And then a lot of people are going for auto-loading holster, but honestly, unless you have a damage perk here, I would go with it here. And I really like Rampage. This is great for ad clearing because of how it works. High velocity rounds and implosion rounds are the only two mags on this grenade launcher. So high velocity all the way. Smart drift control and quick launch are both gold tier perks. The other one is linear compensator, so you can't go wrong with this. And then the reload speed masterwork actually serves this quite well. Royal Chase Scout Rifle. If anyone asks why you're out here, just reload. Devrim K. Van Net, PRXC Scout Wideband. VGS6 says, you still tracking that monster near Saturn? PXC0 says, yes. Nil 1 is holding position directly over Titan. On mark, 27 hours. Rotating off in 3. Long shift. You Praxic boys are cold. Regret your induction yet? It's not my problem. We don't sleep. Right. I mean, you do sleep. Negative. Come on. I've met Guardians before. We do not. Don't make me call in the gunny. Your gunny would know better than to argue with the order. Okay, listen, Jeff. You're not the order. I don't give a Quiet. Energy rev spooling from the target. What? You said it was basically dead. Basically. Verum, record this. Establish direct feed uplink with Navtac. Uplink connectivity is spotty. Gravitational anomaly detect. No, it's collapse. Navtac return. Link reads as established. Navtac return. Telemetric positioning pins us on the opposing side of Saturn. Displacement reads as roughly 470,000 kilometers. Titan is gone. This doesn't make any sense. Navtac. Vanguard Recon, come in. Tower Actual? Harriet, are you out there? The Royal Chase Precision Frame Scout Rifle has a recoil pattern that is more predictably vertical. And this particular Scout Rifle, honestly, I love this roll. I have TAC Mag, full auto trigger, and Dragonfly with Dragonfly spec on it. A range masterwork would make this thing a beast, but reload it's fine. I'd still rather have range. I tried the Hammerforged rifling barrel, didn't like it, so I went back to my chambered compensator. But honestly, I think fluted is by far the way to go on this thing. This rifle feels great the way it is, but I think fluted would just make it even better. And if we had that range masterwork, that would be a god roll. Corsair's Wrath linear fusion rifle. We are only briefly awoken. The rest of existence is an eternal dream. The Corsair reloaded behind her improvised barricade as Shredder's sound sizzled overhead. She wished she had better cover. The Hall of Names hadn't been constructed with defense in mind. Apparently, nobody dreamed the Awoken would be assaulted there. She reloaded her fusion rifle and assessed their situation. It was dire. Unless Leona Brill's team managed to roll up the Hive's southern flank, her squad would be overrun. At least the Hall of Names was a fitting place for a last stand. She was 6 rounds short of a full clip. She turned to her left to ask Lyra for extra ammo, only to discover her teammate slumped over, blue skin already going gray. The thick purple ichor of a soulfire round oozed from the hole in her chest. The Corsair gritted her teeth and looted Lyra's kit for ammo. The Corsair finished reloading and popped her head back over the barricade. She downed 3 loping acolytes in quick succession before even noticing the ogre looming in the background. It was enormous, at least 7 meters high. She unloaded her fusion rifle into its face, trying to burrow rounds through its armored hide. She managed to blow off a chunk of its upper jaw before her rifle clicked empty. The Corsair dove back behind her barricade, ammo spent. She looked around the hall for the last time, admiring the elegant statues, her chest swelling with bittersweet pride. The faces of her people, Techians and queens presiding over the battle. She remembered what Sadia had said to her long ago, before things got out of control. We are only briefly awoken. The rest of our existence is an eternal dream. And in that dream, we will all... The Corsair's Wrath linear fusion rifle is really interesting because there really aren't great perks available on this gun to make it effective. And yet, target acquisition is excellent and the charge time is actually quite fast. It's kind of a fun gun, but when it comes to endgame content, this is probably not going to be your first choice. This particular one has small bore, projection fuse for range, outlaw for reload, and high impact reserves to give us the extra damage at the end of the magazine. And the masterwork, I think I'd rather have range. You don't really need to have a charge time masterwork, but honestly, it might be kind of funny because the charge time is so fast on this thing. Corsair's Wrath is on a precision frame. It fires a long-range precision energy bolt in this weapon's recoil pattern. It's more predictably vertical. Again, it's a very easy handling linear fusion rifle. It's just lacking some of the perks that people would like on it. Blaspheme. Yes, you got the kill, but the pelt is ruined. Devram K. RC9. This is Vanguard Militia Scout Ship Recon 9, making my report via VanNet proxy satellite. I've completed my sweep through the reef and am filing an incident report, henceforth referred to as Inc. 01, should it be referenced. Shuffling is heard as the speaker adjusts. Papers sift and the microphone crackles slightly. The basis of my visit to the Tangled Shore was to conduct routine Vanguard Reef security sweeps, as agreed upon since the day of incursion. I was escorted most of the way to the shore by awoken gunships, and only landed once my long-range scanner picked up a sub-audio reading emanating from the underbelly of one of the larger asteroid landmasses. The speaker clears her throat. I was called in the disturbance to a nearby awoken vessel and was told to, and I quote, mind my own business and be on my way. So naturally, I thanked them for their assistance, feigned departure, and landed to check it out. They didn't seem to notice the signal. At the signal source, I discovered a small camp of what I initially thought were Scorn. Upon further observation, I found that these were not Scorn, but fallen afflicted with some kind of flesh deformity and mental degradation. Shot one dead, and the others just looked at me. They didn't fight back. Fired a few cesium charges into the asteroid hull and watched them burn. Just sat there. I didn't hear it clearly, but they were chanting something. I don't know. Hard to hear over the fire. The speaker laughs to herself and emulates popping noises. I heard more of them whispering a little deeper in, so I waited for the area to burn out and continued inside. I found one structure of apparent hive architecture, though it didn't appear to have been constructed in any traditional sense. But then again, I don't know what I should even expect from the hive at this point. A single Fallen was inside, became violent when I approached, and brandished a weapon. The weapon was not loaded, and I put them down. My logs will show a few recovered pieces of equipment that I will list now. One presumably organic section of the hive structure. It is perpetually wet, just great job on that, and causes dizziness and blurred vision when held with ungloved hands. It also has the unnerving ability to project dysphoria or general unease. I was asked to collect a sample for study by my CO. I've done that. Put it in a lead box all the way in the back of the cargo hold. Yeah. Eternal tithings to Zivu or Wrath. Whatever. As I was saying, a tin is heard being unlatched. Elsa recovered one tube-style grenade launcher. It has no foundry markings. Definitely not Fallen. And I don't think the Scorn even know how to make weapons. Do the Awoken make grenade launchers? Always struck me as a human weapon. Beautiful weapon. The thing wants to be used. Maybe I'll get an opportunity to use it before I get back to the tower. Lastly, I recovered a locational tracker from one of the Fallen. Following it back to someplace else in the reef. Little remote. I'll call in my findings once I finish there. Beautiful weapon. Blaspheme grenade launcher is on an adaptive frame with a well-rounded grip. It is reliable and sturdy. People got a little excited about this when it first came out, especially with clown cartridge and chain reaction as the perks on this particular grenade launcher. This one has spike grenades, which is one of the top picks. The other top pick is prox grenades for PvP. And then the linear compensator barrel is the most popular on this. For some reason, smart drift control is not picked on this weapon by many, but it serves me well. I'm pretty happy with this. Well, and it has a velocity masterwork, which is good. I always like a blast radius masterwork on these, but it is what it is. This is a great roll. Not quite the god roll, but we're getting there. If you'd like to support this channel, liking and commenting on the videos tells YouTube to share these videos with others who may find them useful. If you'd like to provide monetary support to help keep this channel up and running, visit my locals and subscribe star communities.